What's good, y'all? I'm Jerry. About to check out 5 crazy butterfly effect stories in wrestling. This video is by Wrestling Flashback. We about to hop into the video, man. We're on the road to 2K subs, so let's go.
The butterfly effect refers to the theory that one seemingly small occurrence can have a large impact elsewhere.
Yeah.
This is applicable in wrestling, given the sport's fast-paced and
Like
ever-changing
when
nature. And
Triple H did the click thing, that caused Stone Cold to get a push.
Occurring in wrestling, 5 of which we'll look at today.
Mustafa Ali
Number 1,
getting hurt
John
caused
Cena
Kofi to get pushed at
freestyling.
WrestleMania
John Cena had cemented
2019.
himself as one of the greatest of all time. It's easy to forget about his stuttering start in the WWE,
Yeah.
but there was one moment that changed the trajectory of Cena's career.
Brock Lesnar
and had
left.
it not occurred, it makes us wonder if John would have become the crossover entertainment superstar
He started rapping.
he is today. Cena debuted on television in a big way, but despite gaining plaudits from the likes of The Undertaker and Chris Jericho, after only a few months of being on the SmackDown roster, Cena was on the cusp of being fired at the end of 2002. John had failed to establish himself in WWE. He lacked personality, and character-wise, he gave the fans and the higher-ups little to sink their teeth into. Time was running out for Cena in WWE, until Stephanie McMahon witnessed him freestyling with other wrestlers at the back of the bus on a European tour. Stephanie was impressed and saw potential in Cena rapping on television. This led to the two appearing together in a backstage segment on the Halloween edition of SmackDown in 2002. Cena, dressed as Vanilla Ice, performed 2 raps on the show, including one for Stephanie. Cena was quite entertaining here, and this is the segment that marked the beginning of his rap career.
The old man's got a plan. He's chilling in the building. Did I tell you I'm like light beer? It tastes great when the man's feeling.
Cena returned the next week where he rapped once again and debuted with the catchphrase "Word Life," which would epitomize his rapper gimmick. John continued to embrace this new character more and more, to the point where his raps were a highlight of SmackDown each week.
You need to hit them sit-ups too. Not exactly the leanest. Forget seeing me, bro. You can't see your own penis. The mask is kind of cute, and the entrance is crazy slick. But we don't see eye to eye, Ray, because your head's at my...
2.5 years on from dressing up as Vanilla Ice on Halloween, Cena was WWE champion. John had outgrown the rapping gimmick and was now quickly on his way to superstardom.
Yeah.
After becoming a 16-time world champion and acting as the face of WWE for over a decade, Hollywood came calling, to the point where John is now a massive movie star, which brings us back to Cena's freestyle on the back of the bus on the European tour. A seemingly insignificant event that was seen by the right person and ended up spawning a gimmick that helped Cena reach the main event, and from there, he never looked back. Number 2, Mr. Kennedy is world champion and Vince's son.
Yeah.
After a strong 2006 in which he featured in a memorable feud with The Undertaker, Mr. Kennedy was on course to have an even bigger year in 2007.
He beat like 5 world champions that year.
At WrestleMania 23, Kennedy was booked to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. But an injury led to WWE taking the Money in the Bank contract away from Kennedy.
Gave it to Edge.
Seemingly suffering a torn tricep. The initial plan was for Kennedy to cash in the briefcase on The Undertaker to allow Taker to heal from injuries. But once Kennedy himself became injured, it was then decided that the briefcase must be taken off.
They gave it to Edge.
Calls my phone and she says that you tore your triceps off the bone. You're going to be out for eight or 9 months. Unfortunately, we still need to get that title off of Taker.
The only problem was that Kennedy had actually been misdiagnosed with a torn tricep and instead had suffered a hematoma, which kept him out for a month, as opposed to the 7 months he would have been ruled out for had the tricep injury been legit. But by the time this was all realized, it was too late. Kennedy had already dropped the Money in the Bank contract to Edge.
I flew down to Birmingham, Alabama. They did another MRI, and for sure it was just like some blood vessels that had popped in my arm. So I was out 5 or 6 weeks.
However, Kennedy was about to get a second chance at stardom a few months later, as the WWE had built up an angle in which the illegitimate son of Miss McMahon would be revealed on television. All signs pointed to Kennedy being the son, and this was the plan until Kennedy was suspended for violating the WWE's wellness policy, which had just been revised following the Benoit tragedy that took place that summer. In the storyline, it was revealed that Kennedy had been suspended by Vince for impersonating a McMahon.
I told you before, Kelly may be from Green Bay, but he's been suspended for impersonating a McMahon.
Damn.
The WWE shifted gears, instead revealing Vince's son to be Hornswoggle. Kennedy's push was now well and truly over. Another injury saw him out of action for most of 2008, and by the time he returned in 2009, he still lost a lot of steam and was fired after his first match back for hurting Randy Orton with a backdrop. The Viper was reportedly furious backstage afterward, and Kennedy was released later that week. Kennedy cites this moment as being the straw that broke the camel's camel's back when it came to his time in WWE. Kennedy still had heat after he was blamed for injuring John Cena a year and a half prior in what appeared to be an accident. Kennedy also angered people in the company over the comments he made on Fox News following the Benoit tragedy. Kennedy had a lot of heat backstage, and this eventually led to his demise in WWE. From being denied a major push
He had a good
to world
TNA
title
career,
run
though.
twice in the same year, to injuring two of the company's top stars, the WWE were ready to wash their hands with Kennedy.
There was misstep after misstep after misstep on my part. And I think when those guys went to Vince, he was just like, you know what, I'm tired of hearing his name in a negative light, get rid of him.
Whether you believe Kennedy was a victim of backstage politics, bad luck, or his own mistakes, you still have to wonder what could have been had the doctor not misdiagnosed him years prior, and his planned push would
That's
have come to
crazy.
fruition.
I did not know that. He got misdiagnosed with a torn tricep.
Number 3, Chris Jericho, WrestleMania 33
busted
and
blood
AEW.
vessel.
Chris Jericho has been doing the best work of his career in 2016 and 2017.
He did.
To the point where he and Kevin Owens were penciled in to be one of WrestleMania 33's main event matches. Jericho was supposed to win the Universal Championship in what would no doubt be the biggest victory of Y2J's career. However, the WWE believed the planned match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg would be an even bigger draw with the world title involved. This meant Kevin Owens dropped his Universal Championship to Goldberg a month out from WrestleMania, leaving Owens and Jericho to now feud over the United States title instead. And with that, their position on the WrestleMania card went from being one of the show's main event matches to going on second.
That was one of the best feuds that was originally supposed to lead to the main event of WrestleMania, and then it ends up on second, and I just knew that it's time for me to go.
Vince McMahon hated the match, citing Kevin Owens' performance as the downfall in what Vince referred to as the worst match in WrestleMania history. While for Jericho, he was on borrowed time in WWE, and this became apparent after the announcement that Chris would take on Kenny Omega at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 12. It would be Jericho's first match outside of WWE since he left WCW in 1999. Jericho just wrestled one more match for WWE after his clash with Omega, and with Chris wrestling for New Japan for a second time in 2018, it was clear that Jericho's ceiling was much higher outside of the WWE. By the end of 2018, a new wrestling promotion, All Elite Wrestling, was set to launch with the likes of Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes signing on to be the company's top stars. However, the organization's biggest coup came after Chris Jericho put pen to paper on what was the most lucrative contract of his career. AEW president Tony Khan would later reveal that Jericho and Omega's match at Wrestle Kingdom 12 made Khan realize that creating a promotion would be possible, and that Jericho and Omega would likely be involved, especially given Chris's free agent status and openness to work outside of WWE. While for Omega, his New Japan contract was set to end in December 2018, just a month before AEW's launch. All Elite Wrestling have gone from strength to strength since launching in January of 2019, with Chris Jericho acting as the company's biggest name, a far cry from Jericho's position at the end of his WWE run, as despite being the highlight of the show every week, the WWE saw Jericho as nothing more than a mid-card level talent. This was topped off by the fact that his feud of the year versus Kevin Owens was only deemed worthy of going on second at WrestleMania, which ended up being the catalyst for Jericho exploring options outside of WWE, ultimately leading to his match versus Kenny Omega in New Japan that helped spawn AEW, with Jericho becoming the company's first world champion. Number 4, Dave Meltzer, Cody Rhodes, All In, and AEW. While Jericho's match with Omega certainly deserves credit for helping lead to the creation of AEW, there was one tweet that led to one event that proved wrestling fans were ready for an alternative to WWE. In 2017, wrestlers such as Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega were proving that wrestlers could make a name for themselves in the industry without having to work under the WWE umbrella. This led to fans speculating that it was time for a large-scale wrestling show in a big arena. Industry expert Dave Meltzer didn't believe this was viable and would tweet out saying that an independent show drawing 10,000 plus fans wouldn't happen anytime soon. After seeing Meltzer's tweet, Cody Rhodes was determined to prove Dave wrong, believing that a well-promoted show featuring Rhodes and the Young Bucks could sell out a major independent card in a 10,000-seater building.
When I pressed the button, my life changed.
By the start of 2018, this show would officially be announced. It was to be called All In and would emanate from the Sears Center in Chicago. Tickets went on sale in May and sold out in just 30 minutes. This was huge, as it meant the show would be the first non-WWE or WCW show in North America to sell 10,000 tickets since 1993. It was clear now more than ever there was a big demand for a WWE alternative. All In took place on September 1st, 2018. The show was a massive success and received universal praise from wrestlers and fans.
Thank you for letting me be part of history.
Over 11,000 fans sold out the Sears Center, while 50,000 watched on pay-per-view. The show acted as a precursor to AEW, with many of the wrestlers that appeared on All In eventually signing for the Jacksonville-based promotion. AEW would later run a yearly pay-per-view named All Out, emanating from the same arena and acting as spiritual successor to the All In pay-per-view.
Okay.
Dave Meltzer's initial tweet set off a chain reaction of events that coincided with Tony Khan's plan to start his own wrestling company. All In selling out in just 30 minutes will have given Khan all the confirmation he needed that it was time for a new major wrestling promotion. Add to that the fact that the contracts of numerous top stars on the All In show had either expired or were about to expire. It's clear the wrestling world was ready for the arrival of AEW. Number 5,
This what's up.
Mustafa Ali and Kofi Mania. Over on WWE television in 2018,
Yeah.
the once beloved babyface Daniel Bryan was
Was
now
a heel.
holding the WWE Championship and calling himself the Planet's Champion, in reference to his eco-friendly lifestyle. During this time, Mustafa Ali earned a promotion to the SmackDown roster, following an impressive 2.5 years wrestling on 205 Live. Ali quickly impressed on SmackDown with an exciting high-flying style that
I like the
wrestled
2019
quality
version of
matches
Mustafa.
each week, while also
He
building
had that
a
little
rapport
mask
with the
on.
fans. Following a successful start to life on the Blue brand, Ali was on course to challenge for the WWE
he got hurt.
Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. However, during a match with Randy Orton, the Viper accidentally struck Ali hard in the face, resulting in a concussion. This meant Ali would
black
be
eye.
removed from the chamber match, being replaced by Kofi
Damn.
Kingston. This halted Ali's momentum, but ultimately led to the Kofi Mania that was to come. Prior to the chamber match taking place, Kofi competed against a number of other competitors in a gauntlet match on SmackDown. Kofi put in an exceptional performance, wrestling for over 40 minutes and eliminating 3 wrestlers, including
I remember that
champion
whole
Daniel
match.
Bryan, before being submitted by AJ Styles. Ali had originally been penciled in to act as the Iron Man in the gauntlet, meaning Kofi's inclusion was a complete straight swap.
All I know is I was about to beat 5 of the best on SmackDown going into Elimination Chamber. So
Damn.
I guarantee you I was heading to WrestleMania.
Following his
Damn.
impressive display on SmackDown, Kingston went into the Elimination Chamber with huge momentum. On the night, Kofi made it to the final 2 of the match, with the champion Daniel Bryan standing in Kingston's way of capturing the WWE title. The fans were firmly behind Kofi and wanted nothing more than to see him win the gold. But despite an incredible effort, Kingston came up short. However, the fans were ready to get behind him in a big way. The standing ovation he received after the chamber match proved this, and as the weeks progressed, it became more and more apparent that the fans
Gotta put
wanted to
Kofi in the
see
main
Kofi
event.
challenge for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Kingston's organic rise drew parallels to Daniel Bryan's ascension in 2013 and 2014. But unlike with Bryan, where the fans essentially forced the WWE's hand into putting Daniel in the WrestleMania main event, with Kofi, the WWE were ready to play along. In storyline, Kingston faced similar challenges to Bryan in 2014, with the likes of Vince McMahon branding Kingston as a B-plus player, just like the Authority had done to Bryan 6 years prior. Vince even replaced Kofi in the WWE Championship match at Fastlane with Mustafa Ali, in a callback to the Elimination Chamber. However, despite Ali finally getting his title shot, the fans wanted Kofi. This made it all the more sweeter when Kingston finally earned his WWE title shot at WrestleMania, after he and his partners Big E and Xavier Woods won 2 gauntlet matches in successive weeks on SmackDown. Just like Daniel Bryan fought against all the odds to challenge for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 30, Kofi Kingston was now ready to do the same.
But they mishandled
Bryan couldn't have been a
Kofi's
more
run,
fitting
though.
opponent, and just like Daniel
So I
made it
wonder
to
if Ali
WrestleMania
would have had that same
2014,
run
in 2019, it
that
was all about
ended when Kofi lost to
as
Brock
Kingston
Lesnar on
defeated
SmackDown.
Daniel Bryan to become the new WWE Champion. This topped off an incredible story that all came about thanks to Mustafa
That was
Ali's
a
initial
great moment for
Kofi
Kofi.
was ready to step in though. His title win created an all-time WrestleMania moment as 11 years of hard work paid off. Kofi Kingston had finally won the big one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that brings us to the end of this video. If there are any more butterfly effects you've noticed in wrestling, feel free to drop them in the comments.
The click.
We'll cover them in a future video. But as always,
Stone
if you enjoyed
Cold,
the video, be sure
know
to
what
give
I'm
it a
saying?
like and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out a similar video where we discuss.
Alright, y'all, great video, man. Let me know down below in the comments of what y'all thought of my reaction to this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. I'm out. Peace.